We'll call the town council meeting for today, March 14th, 2022 to order. And we'll start with the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lisa, could we have a roll call at the council, please?
Yes. Peter Drapo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Quirian.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Here.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Here.
Lee Trahan.
Here.
Mr. Macklin has also requested a roll call for the planning board members, so if you're present, please let me know. Gary Owen.
Yes.
Michael DeRozier.
Yes.
Mark Ward. Ellery Keene.
Yes.
Lynn Choate.
Yes.
Stephen Gagnon. And Larry Desmond. All right. First order of business is the approval of minutes of previous meetings. The minutes presented are from February 14th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Lisa.
Peter Drapo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Quirian.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Next up, communications, boards and committees. The planning board, there has been a change of appointments from alternate to members for Larry Desmond and Steve Gagnon. So we would need a motion to do
So
that.
move.
Second.
Any discussion? Lisa, roll call?
Peter Drapo?
Yes.
Dale Macklin?
Yes.
Jerry Quirian?
Yes.
Ray Karen?
Yes.
Joseph Gravel?
Yes.
Jeff West?
Yes.
Lee Trahan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. And I've got to say that for the other as well. Next item was informational purposes only. Presented was the Kennebec Regional Development Authority warrant for the 2022-2023 budget meeting. So no action is needed on that. Next item is reports of committees and commission.
Erica?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. The month of February was a tough month. This month continues to be a bit of a tough month. It's all about the budget and getting that done. The quorum of managers, I shouldn't say the quorum, the consortium of managers across the state have been bouncing ideas off of each other and sharing information, and all of us are in a bit of, it's a difficult budget year. Reason being that the current trends, we don't know exactly where they're going. The current consumer price index is 5.9%. Inflation is going nuts. I'm sure everybody's been hearing that in the news. Managers are proposing anywhere between a 3% and 6% wage hike for non-union employees. Of course, we know that fuel, oil, propane, gas are rising rapidly along with power costs. So I did manage to lock in one-year pricing that will mitigate some of that in terms of the fuel oil and the propane. But those costs are also going to affect the contractors that do business with the town. So those prices will continue to rise as well. And there's also continuing supply chain issues. Those things that affects a lot of the materials that we use to do our work, things like culvert and pipe, the vehicles that we use. We have had vehicles on order for a considerable amount of time that they just can't get them in for us. That point leads to another issue that's come to light, which is the potential drop in revenue for excise taxes. Because the inventories are so low on the auto lots, that means fewer cars to sell. Fewer cars to sell means less excise tax to collect. So that's kind of hit the radar from some of the communities that get a large amount of revenue from that source. We're one of them. So that's a potential, not a real easy way to predict how that'll affect our budget, but we just need to be aware of it. And third, as I promised in last year's budget, I have been performing a total overhaul of our compensation structure. Fire, police, and public works union employees were all taken care of through the bargaining unit agreements that were already approved earlier in this fiscal year. But that leaves everybody who is not a union employee, including our department heads, our front office staff, administrative assistants, and our tax collector, all of which need to be redone, and our library as well. So, and because I'm one of those nitpicky people who won't do things without having a lot of data to back it up, it's just really been taking a lot of time to do the research it takes to get that done. Let me just say I fully understand why $30,000 to pay a consultant to do this is actually a pretty good deal, because it's a pretty awful project. So on that note, I do apologize for everyone that's had to deal with me being short, saying, please don't come talk to me, just leave me alone. I want to get my budget done. I thank you all for your patience with me, but it'll be over soon. So moving on to other news, the February Coffee with the Manager was held on February 2nd. We did try an afternoon meeting, didn't work out that great. I had people on the Facebook forums asking for afternoon meetings so that people who work could go. Not only did no new people show up, half the people that were coming regularly didn't show up because they're only available in the mornings. So we're going to try that one more time, and if we don't do any better, we're going to go back to having morning meetings. Waterville Council followed our lead in recommending a full closure of the Taconic Bridge during reconstruction next year. It's a good thing to say that Waterville and Winslow have kind of been in lockstep on this one and cooperating. However, MDOT's pushing back, and actually we had another meeting this morning, and I'm not sure which way it's going to go. The new numbers, which I can actually update since this report, say that a full closure will save around 8 months of construction, which is less than what they originally thought. And they believe that it may end up backfiring on us because the intersection up at Carter Memorial Bridge and Augusta Road will go down to what they call an E rating, which is basically unpassable. Paul and I have a little bit of doubt about what they've figured out because I still think personally that we're going to be worse off up at the main intersections up here. But if it doesn't get full closure, which is kind of looking at this point like it won't, the pattern of traffic will be that the lanes coming eastbound into Winslow will remain open. The lanes going westbound into Waterville will be completely closed. So at least that's better than having traffic going in both directions. The fire stations do have they have preemption devices which will allow them to work with the signals so that they can go in both directions. Again, it's kind of a timing thing, hit or miss, as to whether they can get that done at the right time to clear the traffic and yet not hold it up so early that the traffic has to sit there and wait for them. So it's a bit of a balancing act. More to come on that, but again, they said that they will have, the dates are firm as far as having this out to bid in September of this year. Not real clear as to whether they will start construction 2022, more likely early 2023, and the project has to be wrapped up by 2027 because it's grant funded and that's the rules on the grant. So either way, we're looking at about a 3-year mess down here to replace the bridge. So after that happy note, just to give you some other updates on things that are going on in our projects. One that I am excited about and is good is the new website. The beta testing has been complete, and they're ready to do our training for those of us who are going to be managing the website. So that's going to be scheduled on March 29th. After that, they want to give us a few weeks to play with it, work out any bugs, and then it'll be going live. So this thing is finally coming, and that's going to be one huge thing off the plate over here, and I think it's going to be great for everybody. It's going to be a lot more versatile. The junior high environmental study, we're still just looking at getting that actually scheduled, which has not been done yet. We do have updated numbers for the collection and the food waste pilot. I did attach those for the counselors. And Agriculture Commission has also submitted their monthly report, which is also attached for all of your browsing. So basically our operations continue to be really busy. Budget's the top priority. So we'll be looking to having those discussions starting later this month, and we'll keep moving on. Because I don't have the police chief here tonight, I did want to point out a couple of other things that were in his report. First of all, I would like to congratulate them because they have received a letter of commendation, and this is a handwritten note I'm going to read real quick. It says, "I can't thank you and your team enough for all your hard work and time put into this case and helping me. You truly helped more than you'll ever know, and I just wanted to express how much I appreciate everything you went through to get where we are now. I know it's your job, but without you, I wonder what would have happened to me. So again, thank you," from Shayla Bickford. So thank you to our police department. They really do good work down there. And they're a great set of officers. And last, I'd just like to mention that our police chief, Leonard McDade, has achieved a certificate of completion for the FBI LEDA course. It is a highly esteemed law enforcement course in the United States. Getting FBI LEDA certified is one of those credentials that law enforcement professionals really go after, and it means a lot, kind of like getting a PhD for some other occupations. So congratulations to Chief McDade. And that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you, Erica. Yes, Ray.
This, Erica, thank you very much for the work. I know a little bit about the work you've been doing with the website, and that's a huge, huge project, but it's way overdue, and I can't wait to see it and be a lot easier for the citizens to get information and stuff. So I think I want to thank you for that. I know That's a lot of work, and thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Further comments, discussion from the council? Okay,
So we need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
I'm sorry, not the minutes, the reports.
Second.
Okay, ready for roll call?
yes, we are.
Peter Drapo,
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Querian.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Reports passed 7-0. Next items are public comments. We have 2 letters that have been submitted. First letter reads, "Hi, Dale and Erica. I appreciate the fiscal year 21 summary provided by RKO on February 14th and was encouraged to see that the audit showed that actual expenditures were $508,000 less than budget, while revenues were $211,097 more than budget. The unassigned fund balance was at 16.43% of budget, which was a 5.4% increase from fiscal year 20 and is at the council's objective. In the fiscal year 22 budget process, it would seem that the council rationalized that property taxes needed to be significantly increased. In hindsight, the actual results may suggest that Winslow property taxpayers were assessed more than was needed due to process budgeting errors. Looking ahead, what action will the council take to communicate the RKO audit results? I would suggest the PowerPoint on February 14th plus the annual financial report for year-end June 30, 2021 be posted on the town website. And what action will be taken to improve the budgeting process to ensure that Winslow property taxpayers are not overtaxed due to the town budgeting process? I would thank you for your thoughts. Signed, Ken Fletcher. Letter number 2. Dear Council, when will the updated comprehensive plan be presented for comments for people of Winslow? I would suggest the Winslow taxpayers deserve to be provided with some key information, including but not limited to, number 1, population changes, i.e. in 1980 the census was 8,057 and the 2020 census was 7,984, which indicates a decrease in population of 109 people in the last 40 years. Number 2, town and education budgeted expenditures have increased by $4,472,547 in the last 5 years, or a 20% increase. Number 3, what is the current unassigned fund balance as of March 1st, 2022? The council apparently increased the property rate to require Winslow property taxpayers to pay more to build up the reserve, but failed to recognize the other increases in local and state revenues, as well as one-time sales of town owner and acquired property. Number 4, what were the funds from the sale of the former Crow Rope facility, Johnny's and Orion Rope, totaling $3.6 million, spent and dispersed $3.4 million? And number 5, when will the council's fiscal year 23 budget workshops be published so people can participate? I would suggest that the town website publish the times and dates in the interest of proper notification. Thank you. Signed, Ken Fletcher. Next up is tabled business. We have ordinance number 3-2021, providing for an amendment to the Winslow zoning map to rezone a portion of tax map 13, owned by Steve Martin. The portion is described as lots 87, 88, and 89 of the Dunbar Acres and Dunbar Acres Annex subdivision, from the high-density residential district to the mixed-use district.
Through the chair, I make a motion to take this off the table.
I second it.
Any discussion? Roll call, Lisa, when you get ready.
Roll call is Peter Drapo,
Yes.
Dale Macklin,
Yes.
Jerry Querian,
Yes.
Ray Karen,
Yes.
Joseph Gravel,
Yes.
Jeff West,
Yes.
Lee Trahan,
Yes.
passes 7-0.
This is on the agenda now for tonight for the public hearing. Public hearing was held a year ago on this. We decided to hold another one because of the time lapse. At 6:18 p.m. today, we will open the public hearing portion of this meeting. Pursuant to the rules and regulations of the town council, any member of the public has 5 minutes to speak on the issue. You can take the whole 5 minutes. If you ask any questions to the council during your 5 minutes, the council's answer to your question will be included in your 5 minutes. If at the end of your 5 minutes, the council has more questions, the council can ask the questions, and you could answer the question and have 30 seconds to answer the question. In these public hearings, we expect the council, as well as the public, to behave themselves, act respectful to each other, speak without interruptions. So, is there any member of the public who would like to comment on this issue?
Yeah, I'll go first, if that's all right.
And if I could just add one thing, please state your name and your address.
Sure, my name's Andrew Chapman, my address is 24 Marie Street, one of the abutters there. I'm here just to read a letter that was, I think everybody has seen from my father, and just kind of echo his comments. So basically, I'm just going to read this in his words. To members of the Winslow Town Council, I am Stephen Chapman, and I've owned a house located at 24 Marie Street for 40 years. I have paid over $100,000 in property taxes to the town during my home ownership, and therefore I feel this gives me the right to take a firm stance against zoning change for Lot 115 and any other areas within Dunbar Acres. Mr. Martin is not a long-standing member of the Dunbar Acres community. When he purchased Lot 115, which consists of 8 individual lots last year, he was well aware that these lots were zoned high-density residential. So now he feels he has the right to come into our community and request a zoning change to mixed use so he can build a commercial garage. We don't need a commercial garage. Per Winslow Municipal Code, Chapter 14, Zoning 14-44 Mixed Use District, commercial uses must exist in harmony with the character of the district and blend to the uses to each other. Mixed-use zoning, which will allow construction of a commercial garage, does not exist in harmony and provides no value to our community. Keep this area zoned as high-density residential and build 8 homes for families. That will enhance the community. Therefore, I am urgently requesting the Town of Winslow Town Council members vote no in the mixed-use change request. Just basically echoing those same comments. I mean, we've had neighbors that have moved out and sold their homes in anticipation of what's going on there. It's not adding any value to our homes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Ben Stafford. I live at 15 Lee Street, which is also in the vicinity of the area. And I would just like to echo the fact, for the last 2 years, that I think that the town should continue to honor the fact that that area has always been zoned residential. I've lived in Winslow for over 20 years. I've lived there for about 16 years. And to change it in any way, shape, or form would be, I think, a disservice to the town. It would be unfair to the homeowners that are there now, and would really create a set of unintended consequences should it be allowed to be rezoned something else, where the town would have much less say as to what would go there and to what the consequences would be for the people in that area. You know, I used to live by the Old Town garage, and when I moved in there, I knew full well that at 3 in the morning, plow trucks would be idling for 2 or 3 hours, and the lights, and I never complained once, because I knew that going into it. I don't think it would be fair for me to endure that sort of thing now, where there would be, again, less restriction on the area. The area is already residential, and I think it's the right thing to do to keep it that way. I think it's the fair thing to do, keep it that way. And should it continue any further, I would ask that the town be very transparent about making possibly any changes and to address the concerns that the town, the residents in the area would have, so that everyone is accountable for what happens. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
Good evening. My name is Henry Parent. I'm a new resident over on Lee Street, basically a stone throw away from the subject. lots of the zoning issue. I say that this is an issue because that's how I view this. Zoning change for my community is an issue. In my opinion, Winslow as a town only has a few purely residential neighborhoods in which the families can get a sense of community in a suburban setting. The neighborhoods running in between China Road and Cushman Road are among some of them. The lots which are the subject of this zoning issue are in the heart of these neighborhoods. Like many other families, my fiance and I moved to this neighborhood, one, because we viewed it as a safe, quiet, and great place to start a family. The implementation of commercial businesses in our neighborhood will bring unwanted traffic, random individuals from around the region, and in turn diminish the sanctity that our suburban landscape provides all whom inhabit it. On top of being a community member in this neighborhood, I'm also a financial professional with a concentration in real estate. I can speak from personal experience that having the zoning change will likely devalue all homes in the resounding area. This would be a great disservice to our community, and it would hit our neighbors where it hurts most, in their checkbooks. The time we are living in are times of financial uncertainty and soaring inflation. This would just be another jab at your fellow neighbors and community members, which, when all anybody really needs at this point in time, is a break. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir, could you get the number of your Lee Street?
Oh, 13.
13, okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Chuck Lambert. I live at 575 Clinton Ave, but I own lots still on the end of Lee Street now, and I own the property that Steve has bought. First of all, it's not in the heart of a neighborhood. It borders commercial property already. It's on the edge of the neighborhood. It's not in the middle of it. I mean, we keep saying that every time I get up and talk up here. A big part of the problem with this property has been that it's always been empty. Everybody over there has used that property, and they've always had the use of it. And some people don't like that they don't have the use of it anymore. And the ones that complain the most are the ones that use the property the most, including the one that's moved. I mean, they had an invisible dog fence 80 feet on my property, and they put that there after I bought it without asking. It's easier to ask forgiveness than it is permission. Steve's asking permission, so.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else? Nobody in the public, oh, excuse me.
Hi, my name is Zachary Fitzpatrick, and I just moved into 28 Marie Street, November 12th. And it didn't take me very long to notice that every morning when I was waking up, it was usually to the noise of very loud trucks hauling in or out large piles of dirt or gravel directly next to my property as it abuts the road, this paper street that he uses to enter, or the current people use to enter and conduct their business back there. It's smelly when I go outside during that time, and this is in November, so it's shortly before winter starts, but it's still the end of the activity at the time there. And it annoyed me enough to immediately dig into the archives on the current Town Winslow site to see what have been done about the property back there and other possible ordinance and changes that have been submitted. I know a similar proposal has been done in the past for certain lots back there that changed the zone that have been denied. And I also believe that should be the same case here, and I echo the same points that previous presenters have presented in case of no to this zoning change. It would be a real disappointment for me to have just moved into here and to experience that. And of course, during the entire moving in process, no one would have mentioned that because they probably thought it would have scared me away from purchasing the property, which it might have well done. I'm a remote worker in tech, so I have a lot of flexibility in where I choose to live. I graduated from Thomas in 2019, so I'm really in love with the Central Maine area and like to continue living here under the circumstances that I thought were getting a residential zone in a lovely neighborhood without such commercial, almost industrial type use, at least in the way that I viewed it from waking up in my bedroom every morning with that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to address the November issue. November, we had a active construction zone over there to replace damaged sewer lines. That is a vastly different thing than what's being proposed here. I'm not speaking for or against, I just think it should be made clear that what Mr. Martin is proposing is not an active construction site. It is a warehousing site. So please, everyone, just be aware of that. In November, that was an active construction site, and yes, it would have been disruptive. Fortunately, fairly short, but occasionally the roads do have to be fixed along with the sewers.
Thank you, Erica. Any other member of the public wishing to speak? Steve?
Steve Martin, the owner of the property, currently. I just want to clarify a few things to get people, it seems like there's a lot of misinformation out there. One of the things I want to clarify, one, the construction zone, thank you for bringing that up. I would also note that, you know, I was approached to use the site for the benefit of getting the job done effectively by the current public works director, and I was hesitant because of the noise and the construction. I try to keep things quiet, and if you've noticed, it's been very quiet over there, other than when they did that street. There isn't anything going on over there. I haven't been over there. So to say that there's a lot going on wasn't a result to me. I will also say that the intended use of that property is for homes. Both my sons want to live here in Winslow and raise their families and carry on like you folks do. And that's the majority of the use of that property is for their houses. And the way it hopefully will work out after working with the planning board will be to develop up to 4 house lots. 2 boys and maybe 1 for each of their kids when they're born and grow up. The only use for the building was just to have a storage garage that we could get big enough to put a piece in the wintertime if need be, so we don't have to travel to Timbuktu. I don't operate construction under there, I never intended to. All my construction is done, all my equipment's held in the pits. I generally, I go over there from time to time, go into the storage garage that's there now to put something away, take something out. And if anybody's really been paying attention, that lives in the area, has noticed that we're not over there. We haven't done anything over there.
Okay.
It's just wanted to make you aware of that. Any questions from the board?
I have one question, Steve. I've talked to some folks out in that neighborhood in the last week or so. Do you have any intent on using Lee Street, the existing Lee Street, to get an entrance to where you want to put this building?
No, there's never been. It's never intended to be Lee Street to be used for a through street. It's going to be dead-ended at the property.
So where's dead-ended now?
Yeah.
It will remain dead-ended under any plans that you want to come up
The
with?
only reason we kept it open back and forth because we have a utilities easement that comes through there in order to bring in the sewer and water. And eventually, we will bring the sewer and water line in to feed the boys' houses, and then that'll be it. They'll probably plant some shrubberies or put up a fence or do something to keep it. They want the same thing. They want a quiet neighborhood to be able to raise their kids in. It's a larger than normal lot for them to build on compared to what you folks are dealing with. Yes.
Excuse me, no dialogue, no. It's your time, Steve.
But yeah, and I also want to take the time, I know people don't often get enough motivation to come up and speak on behalf of what we've been doing, what we intend to do. Some of the neighbors over there have been, and in fact, all but I guess what's here has been very supportive and very helpful, and I've done the same for them. I've been a good neighbor, provided them with help in cleaning up the messes that happened to get onto the property, onto my property that came from theirs. And I took care of theirs and mine, and again, I got it, so it's a nice mowable lawn now. So we're working on improving it.
Thank you. Peter?
Through the chair. Steve, somebody said from away, how long have you lived in Winslow?
I built the house in 2004.
Okay. And Chuck, how long have you lived in Winslow?
I've graduated in 83.
Thank you.
Both my kids went to school at Winslow and graduated.
Thanks.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak?
I'm the chairman of the planning board.
Ellery, before you go any further, I'm going to ask for a point of order, that because you are on the planning board, and this is going to end up in the planning board at some point in time, you may have a conflict of interest if you speak today at the public hearing. And if you speak today at the public hearing and it is a conflict of interest, then you will have to recuse yourself from the planning board activity on this, when it gets to that point.
Thank you for explaining that. I will not speak at this time.
Okay, thank you, Ellery. Any other comments from the public? There being none, we do have some letters that people have submitted. Mr. Chapman submitted a letter, but I think that's already been read. That's the same letter that we have. Okay, so I think we have
Just
two
two
others.
yep. The first one is from Marcia Stetson. She said, "I am writing to construe to request the area at Marie and Lee Street remain high residential. While we no longer own 28 Marie Street, we do own other property on Marie Street where my daughter and grandson reside. Mr. Martin came to the abutters many months ago and told us he was not putting his garage there and had found another piece of property. Yet here we are again. Though Mr. Martin never came and informed people of his intent. Mr. Martin is not the only person who owns house lots on what is called Lee Street. Two other abutters, the Holtz and the Lubiers, own lots. Their lots are significantly impacted if they should choose to build homes on those lots in the future. And the other abutters' properties are impacted as well as the neighborhood as a whole. Many younger families have moved in with children and walk and bike in the neighborhood. This is not one garage for one truck, as was initially stated and then restated at the last planning board meeting. If you want a clear picture of what this would look like, of what looks like is going on and out of the neighborhood, go watch how much action goes on at the parking lot at the school where some of Mr. Martin's equipment is. People bought in the neighborhood and it should remain as such. Steve told multiple abutters if we didn't support or like his garage plan, then he would put in 8 houses with a pump station. Not one abutter was opposed to that plan. Mr. Lambert knew he was buying house lots, and Mr. Martin was very aware as well, and also aware the residents do not want a business there, yet he purchased it anyway. I know it has been brought up several times of all that Mr. Martin does for the town. First off, he is making money off the town. I am sure he is paid for his work. And what he has or has not done for the town should not influence members' votes. That could become a sticky situation. I hope you will really take time to think about your vote, close your eyes, and imagine this is your neighborhood. And ask yourself, is the tax base from one business really worth the detriment to the neighborhood? There is no guarantee of that any house will ever be built. Thank you for your time, Marcia Stetson.
Can I have a point of order, Bill?
Yes, Ray.
I thought that letter was a little personal to Mr. Martin, mentioned Mr. Martin many times, and I felt that was very unfair at that point in time for that letter, and I did read it, I didn't catch it, but I thought, hearing it, after, I think that shouldn't, maybe we shouldn't have read that portion of the letter, we should have been stricken out, because I thought it was a little personal.
I agree with you, Ray, but unfortunately, we're
I
in a
understand
situation
that,
where we
yeah.
have to read the letters.
I understand that. I just want to state
If it-
that cause. I don't like that type of stuff, and I don't like that, and I thought it was uncalled for.
Letter number 2. My name is Caroline Souveny, and I live and own property at 20 Marie Street in Winslow. I am writing to oppose the zoning change requested by Mr. Steve Martin for lots 87, 88, and 89. I am 91 years old and have lived at 20 Marie Street since the 1960s. My husband and I raised 5 children in this house. We chose to live here because it was a nice, safe residential neighborhood. I like to walk on the streets of our neighborhood, as do many of my neighbors. Because there are no sidewalks, we walk on the streets. That has been a very safe activity due to the residential character of the neighborhood until recently. During the past year, there have been large trucks going to the area behind my house, using the entire length of Marie Street as a thoroughfare to get to and from Beck Street. These large trucks on Marie Street have made the street unsafe for me to leave my driveway to go for a walk. In addition, the trucks have been using Marie Street as a thoroughfare, have ruined the surface of the street. The surface of the street is now so broken up that it is unsafe for both walking and driving. If this zoning change is granted, Marie Street will permanently be an unsafe place to walk, not only for me, but for small children. If Mr. Martin uses the lots for the storage and repair of large trucks, that will be an industrial level of use totally inconsistent with the residential character of the area. It will introduce noise and exhaust fumes, along with the smell of diesel fuel and oil. The trucks and other equipment will probably be visible from my house and others in the area. This will not only make my life and my neighbors' lives less pleasant, safe, and healthy, it will also lower our property values. What young families will want to live in a neighborhood with those conditions and with large trucks and other industrial equipment rumbling through the streets? Mr. Martin purchased lots that were zoned for residential use. He had a choice. Now this one person is seeking to change an entire neighborhood in a way that will negatively affect a large number of Winslow citizens. There is no benefit to the citizens who already live here. That is not right. Please keep our Marie Street neighborhood the way it is, healthy, safe, and pleasant. Do not change it into an industrial area. Do not make this change that will seriously negatively affect our property values. There are other places in town that can be used by Mr. Martin for these purposes. There is no need for him to place an industrial operation in a quiet, pleasant residential area.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, Erica?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just again, to keep everything in perspective and keep it strictly to the facts, the vehicular traffic that is mentioned in that letter was again due to construction, not to any type of activities that we're talking about performing right now. There's going to be a lot of construction going on in this town over the next few years. Sunset Heights is going to be torn up because we've got infrastructure under there that's anywhere between 50 and 100 years old, and the stuff doesn't last forever. So do be aware that not everything that happens on the road is the result of an individual just transporting their equipment. It is the result of having to undertake some significant infrastructure improvements just to keep things working, so that we don't have sewer backups in people's basements and road issues as well.
Can I just add
Thank
that
you,
it's fair
Aaron.
to say that kind of industrial vehicular traffic is consistent with what you will be doing there?
Mr. Martin, could you respond to that, please?
All that I'm saying is the degradation of the roads and the noise and such is consistent in what will be.
Let's back up on the degradation of the roads. The roads are terrible in this town. Every road is terrible.
Understood?
And they're terrible now, and they're gonna be terrible until we can get them fixed. And we're working on it. Hopefully, once they are fixed, especially Lee Street, which will be this summer, I believe, and Marie Street is gonna be on the list. Once those roads are fixed, I don't think you're gonna have the noise or the degradation of roads other than normal traffic after that.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, is this a public hearing?
Yes, it is, Jerry.
Okay, then why are we talking way off?
These concerns are brought up, Jerry, and
No.
I guess I will take the blame for that, Jerry, because the meeting, the public meeting part of this was a lot shorter than expected, and there are questions to be answered. I kind of felt it was okay if we went a few minutes over to answer some of the concerns
Well, I don't,
for now.
but I wish they would have pointed out to us where the break was between.
Well, Jerry, if you want to make a motion to stop it right now, we'll do it.
No, I don't have a problem Maintaining.
But no, it's not gonna go on forever, Jerry, but there were some, couple of important issues that I thought were warranted to get settled.
Through the chair,
Yes, Ray?
all people have to do is remember Benton Avenue this summer and how much trouble, but how, you know, you're gonna have to pay a price for getting the roads back up to snuff. Those roads, the tars coming off, the piping's coming up, there's gonna be some major construction in those areas. Not only that, but reclaiming of the roads, long overdue.
Okay, there being no more written comments, Lisa?
Correct.
I will call the public hearing on issue closed at, I guess it's 7:42 PM.
6:46.
6:46. Oh, is that,
We wanted to fix it.
okay, we wanted to fix it, but we didn't.
You said no.
We can wait
Hey.
6 months.
I'm new at this, okay? The next procedure for this, just for those who know, there's no vote tonight on this issue. It's going to the planning board for their hearing next Monday. The planning board will then do their deliberations and have a vote on what to recommend for the council to do, either rezone or not rezone. So there will be, in my understanding, another hearing next Monday, Gary? No?
This is the only public hearing.
Public hearing,
On
yes.
this. As the council does, the planning board also has a public comment period, which is much more abbreviated and does not permit for back and forth. People can show up at the planning board meeting and say something short, but it is not a public hearing. That is not the same venue as this is. The primary function of the planning board with this particular issue that night will simply to do their finding of facts and decide whether to recommend that the council vote yes or no on the zoning issue.
All right. No discussion with the council. All right, we have a motion to table this until we get it back from the planning board.
So moved. Second.
And we already did a roll call on that, so we're good.
No, to table it.
Oh, to table it again?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who was first?
Jerry was first.
Jeff.
No,
Jeff.
Jeff and
Jeff.
I second it.
and Mike.
And Lee, thank you. Okay, roll call. Peter Drappo.
yes.
Dale Maslin.
Yes.
Jerry Clarion.
Yes.
Ray Karen. Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Tabling it passes 7-0. Next up is old business. Order number 2-2022, providing for authorization for the town manager to appropriate $61,570 from ARPA funds to pay for the town office digital sign and the town office heat pumps.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? No discussion? Lisa, we'll do a roll call.
Peter Drappo?
Yes.
Dale Maslin?
Yes.
Jerry Clarion?
Yes.
Ray Karen?
Yes.
Joseph Gravel?
Yes.
Jeff West?
Yes.
Lee Trahan?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next up is order number 3-2022. Authorization for the town manager to appropriate $35,250 from ARPA funds for the purpose of vaccination stipends offered to town employees.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion? Lisa, roll call when you're ready.
Peter Drappo?
Yes.
Dale Maslin?
Yes.
Jerry
Yes.
Clarion? Ray Karen?
Yes.
Joseph Gravel?
Yes.
Jeff West?
Yes.
Lee Trahan?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Our next item is
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
new
sir.
business.
I make a motion, we accept ordinance numbers 02-2022 and 03-2022 as one.
Second?
Motion and second, and any discussion?
They're two different
They're two
chapters.
separate, they're two separate chapters of the code, Jeff. So it's better to keep those separated.
Yep, no, that's fine. I withdraw my motion.
And the second withdrawn.
I withdraw the second.
Okay, so ordinance number 2-2022, under new business, an amendment to ordinance 57-1976 to adopt administrative changes to the town code previously reviewed and approved by the planning board and the town council during the town code update project on October 25th, 2018, amending section 1-18 and adding sections 1-through 19 through 1-27 per the attached document from general code.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Yes.
Yes,
I got a
Jerry?
well, my question is on 02-2022, we got two sheets of paper, and one of them is for our signature. If we lose that sheet, could we change this a little so that at least some of the writing is on the second sheet?
I think, Jerry, that is something that Lisa could probably handle when she does the official documents.
You just want to have it all on one page, is that what you mean, Jerry?
Can we do it on one page?
We can, yeah, we certainly can.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Or two-sided.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Lisa?
Peter Drappo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Cook.
Yes.
Ray Karen. Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
First reading passes 7-0.
It's the
Did-
second one.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Did you get Ray's vote?
It is correct.
Okay.
Yes. Ray Karen is yes.
She didn't have it written down.
Right.
That's okay.
Next item is ordinance number 3-2022, an amendment to ordinance 45-1974, ordinance 06-2012, and ordinance 08-2012. Updating sections 4-3 and 4-4 of the town code, addressing time limits and fees charged for building permits, adding the underline and deleting the structured language in the attached documents.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Rocky?
On section 4-3 under the building permit requirements and time limits, I would like up to $500 to $2,500 when somebody needs to get a permit.
Could you say that section again, Rocky?
4-3, section A,
4-3, section A. Got
says
you.
if the cost of such building or repair is estimated to exceed $500, he or she shall obtain a building permit from the town. I'd like to up that to $2,500. With inflation and everything, $500 to me is not.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Yep. Point of order.
Yes, Jerry?
Yes. My esteemed counsel next to me, I don't have a problem with the $2,500. Would this be an amendment? Or a
It would be an
It's a
amendment.
motion to amend.
So,
So we're taking Rocky's motion to amend the 500 to the 2,500.
Yes.
That was seconded by Jeff. And now it's open for discussion. Yes, Peter?
I would agree with the 2,500. I mean, if you do a floor and a paint in one room, you're going to spend that. What are you gonna do for $500 other than drive Amos crazy?
Any other comments?
Short trip.
Well,
Ray?
Amos, you're in full agreement with this? I mean, just as a, Rocky, I take your word for it. I just
Yeah.
wanted to know his opinion.
No, I agree, this would be a good decision as well.
The only concern I have is, are we gonna miss any $2,000 improvements? That if somebody,
we miss them now. We miss $500 improvements. Well, let's face it, Amos, how many people come in the office right now for a permit for a $600 item? Have you had any?
You and far between.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think, Dale, if we pick it up to 2,500, people at that point may think, geez, I better not walk that tightrope. And again, $2,500, you know, we did a bunch of renovations last year, yeah, you're going through it right now. So,
Doesn't buy much.
any further discussion? Amos?
Yeah, if I may too, I mean, you look at the average cost of even a shed, you know, you're gonna hit probably pretty close to that 2,500 anyways. So I think it's a good decision.
Yeah. Anything further from the council? Lisa, we'll vote on Rocky's motion to amend section 4.3A from $500 to $2,500.
Yep, roll call on amendment, Peter Drapo,
yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Quirian.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Roll call on ordinance number 3-2022. Peter Drapo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Quirian.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Jeff.
I would like to make a motion this time that we take ordinances numbers 04-2022 all the way to ordinance 10-2022 as one.
Is there a second?
Second?
All right.
Okay.
So roll call to do that. Peter
We have a
Drapo.
discussion first?
Discussion.
May I say something?
Yes, Bill?
Do you have a written recommendation from the planning board yet on these proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance?
I'm on top of it, Bill. No, we don't, we can't vote today, but he's gonna take them all as one, so we can table them all as one until we get the planning board recommendation.
You got it that time, Jeff. So the motion to take for a group by Jeff, and it's been seconded? Yes, right?
Just through the chair, I just want to go back one ordinance, I'm very sorry, but 03-2022. Could you, Erica, just pass it over the Judy, the assessor, to see what her feelings are, or have you already?
We've already been through both Judy and Bill on
Okay,
this.
I don't need to,
Yep.
okay, that's just.
So where we're at is at Jeff's motion to consolidate ordinance number 04-2022 through ordinance number 10-2022 as one. Any further discussion?
Yep, I got the same problem as one of the previous things.
What's that, Jerry?
And Lisa can fix it. Because I got 4 signatures on a blank sheet on this.
Yeah, Lisa will take care of those, Jerry, when she does her official,
We will make them
her
fit for you,
official,
Jerry.
her official paperwork. Further discussion? Roll call, Lisa.
Roll call, Peter Drapo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Quinn.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Passes 7-0 to combine.
And I will move to table these.
Second.
ordinance number 042022 through ordinance number 10-2022. Did you get a second?
I did.
Okay. Discussion? Roll call.
Peter Drappo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Querian.
Yes.
Ray Karen. Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Motion to table passes 7-0. Our next item is,
Before we start this, Lisa, for those who don't know, the item says Unit 25 as a 2021 Freightliner. Lisa has already corrected that in her record as a 2012 Freightliner. You're up.
so, order number 4-2022, providing for authorization for the town manager to appropriate $102,249 to purchase 2 replacement dump bodies for unit number 25, a 2012 Freightliner, and unit number 4, a 2014 Western Star, to purchase a sweeper attachment for the new McLean sidewalk machine.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Paul, do you have anything to say? Or we can go to vote.
Good vote, I guess. I mean, the reason I jumped ahead on this one is this was gonna be proposed for the upcoming budget, but since our trucks won't be built till at least July of 2022, this was gonna go to next year's budget. We have the money now, and I'd like to try to get the bodies replaced. While the vendor's also not busy, because he's like everybody else, he's sitting there waiting for trucks, get bodies in the yard, and I'd like to get them up and running before we get into the spring construction season. Mine doesn't have, number 4 right now is having a hard time making it through a snowstorm without having to bolt the body back together, so it's tired. It's frontline trucks and so they are, so they're not, the trucks themselves aren't going anywhere anytime soon, so.
So mechanically, these trucks are fine?
Mechanically, the trucks are fine. They were inexpensive bodies at the time, because that's what the vendors had, and they're not selling them anymore for a reason. And Erica didn't share it on her report a while ago, just so the rest of you would know that Friday we were notified by Senator King that we were appropriating $1 million for Chaffee Brook as part of the congressional spending, so.
Sorry, I kept that one to myself.
I have it on my list at the end of the discussion, if it didn't come up, because we have to.
That's pretty good news for us on that point, so.
And Paul, we want to thank you. We know what you went through to help get that $1 million.
It was a joint effort between me and the people that write to us.
That's right.
Most
Yes.
decided to do online applications, a lot of people did a lot of that for us, and it paid off, so it's good to see, so.
Yes, Ray?
What percentage of that is of the total project?
Right now it's about 20%. We're also in the process of applying for SRF funds through the state and talking to the engineers so that we might qualify for some principal forgiveness, so.
Sounds like because it was in the paper. It was in the newspaper.
$1 million is nice to have.
It is, no
We
question.
were sitting for a long time waiting for them to pass an actual, federal budget. That's what was the whole. That's a lot we didn't do, so.
Thank you, Paul. Any further discussion? Roll call, Lisa.
Peter Drappo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Querian.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
First reading passes 7-0.
And because of the necessity to get these trucks on the road, I move that we waive the second reading.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call, Lisa, on waiving the second reading?
Peter Drappo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Querian.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Waiving it passes 7-0. There you go.
Thank you.
Our next item is order number 5-2022. Hold on just a second. Authorization for the town manager to enter into a contract with a vendor for cemetery maintenance at a cost not to exceed $23,500.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Yes, Lee?
That question, as far as that 23,005, is that something that was generated through past expenses or anticipated anything above and beyond what's been done in the past?
It's more of an anticipated one. It's more than previously, but that's a maximum,
Okay.
just to have some leeway.
I'm just kind of curious where that number
Yeah,
came from.
yeah. Further discussion?
Question.
Yes, Jerry?
I got two orders, 5-2022.
You do?
An order, then a resolution. Like,
No, one's an order and one's a resolution, Jerry.
Jerry,
yes,
I found it because I was looking for it too. It was on the very bottom. So I think if you look at the bottom of your pile, you'll find it.
okay.
You all set, Jerry?
I
Yep.
hit it on it.
Okay. Don't do it again, Lisa.
She wanted to know if I'd catch it.
You did.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Lisa.
Peter Drappo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Clary.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
First reading passes 7-0.
And I'll move that we waive the second reading on this because if spring comes early, we're gonna need this in place, time the mowing season comes.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, Lisa.
Peter Drappo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Clary.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
And waiving it passes 7-0. Our next item is resolution number 5-2022, providing for authorization for the fire chief to sign the attached agreement with Dr. Timothy Pye for medical director services.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Through the chair, this is our
Yes.
current medical director, right?
Yeah.
This is the one we have now. Yes, it's a continuation.
It is a continuation. And I believe the stipulation's been inserted that it automatically renews, so that we, you know,
Further discussion?
for the record, his name is Dr. K.
I wasn't certain, thank you.
You're welcome.
I do like pie though.
March 14th.
Depends on what
Okay.
brand, Lisa. Any further discussion?
Pie Day.
Huh?
Today is Pie Day.
It is, maybe that was the confusion.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
That's quite all right, chief. We appreciate you. Any further discussion? Roll call, Lisa?
Peter Drappo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Clary.
Yes,
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Next item is resolution number 6, which is listed as a poverty hardship abatement request number 20-22-001. The amount, let me see here, regarding poverty hardship abatement request number 2022-001, be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Winslow as follows. We hereby move that poverty hardship abatement request be granted or denied in the amount of $1,290.54. This was from the executive session last month. The first one was approved. So we just need a formal vote from the council to approve that.
Second.
Discussion? Oh, excuse me. No, that was executive session discussion. Roll call, Lisa.
Peter Drapo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Quirian.
Yes.
Dale Karen. I'm sorry, Dale Karen. Ray Karen.
One of us,
I'm still
one of us or
thinking,
both of us should go very badly, Brenda.
I'm still thinking about mine.
Ray,
Dale probably
Ray,
feels a lot worse than I
I'll
do.
take it, Ray. It's on me.
I'm gonna go with Ray Karen.
All right.
How's that?
Yes,
Joseph Gravel. Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
And that will pass 7-0. And then the second one is resolution number 7-2022. Poverty hardship abatement request number 2022-002. Be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Winslow as follows. We hereby move that poverty hardship abatement request be granted or denied in the amount of $3,684.44. This was the second executive session which the council voted to not approve the request. So we would need a roll call vote on that to make it official.
So moved. Second.
To deny, correct?
To deny.
Thank you. Let's see here. And who was first and second?
Jeff and Lee.
Thank you. Peter Drapo.
Yes.
Dale Macklin.
Yes.
Jerry Query.
Yes.
Ray Karen. Joseph Gravel.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Motion fails 0-7.
Motion passed to deny.
Correct, that's what I meant. And next up is discussion item for ARPA funds.
That's you, Erica.
Okay. So we, based on the two orders that were approved earlier and the second readings for the monies that we've already spent on the heat pumps, the digital sign, and the vaccine stipends, we have approximately $300,000 left this year, and we will get a second tranche of funding either May or June that will bring us up to a grand total of approximately $800,000. We had a webinar last week with a further clarification of the federal government's final rule on how those funds may be used. We've gone back and forth on this a bunch of times, but if you will all recall, I had told you that on infrastructure, we're being limited to water, sewer, broadband, which meant that the only use that we really had for these monies in Winslow would have been some of the sewer projects and public works, which is still a possibility if we want to do that. However, since that time, the federal government has now stated that they are going to assume blanket that every community has lost $10 million. Therefore, we do not have to prove that we lost that money. It's like a standard deduction on your taxes. So you can't claim more of a loss than what your award was, but as long as your award is under 10 million, you can claim the whole thing as lost revenue. Once it's claimed as lost revenue, that opens up a whole host of possibilities. Very little is denied at that point. So, and the reporting is far less strenuous than it will be for the infrastructure projects. So, we have options out there. Sewer is obviously still on the table. We've got major projects coming up, not just with Sunset Heights, but also Chaffee Brook. I believe we have another smaller project coming up, don't we, Paul?
Well, we still have to finish Lee Street and some of Beck Street, but I know we will do that, so.
Right. So we've got plenty of stuff going on in there. We also have things that need to be done maintenance-wise in this building. We are in dire need of flooring and paint. This flooring hasn't been replaced in over 20 years, and it's one of the things we discussed doing. I doubt that that will be horribly expensive. We've also brought up using the money for a host of other things that are out there. What I am putting out to council, and this will be part of our broader budget discussion as we look at our capital needs, is what we need to do with that money to best utilize it for the town. I don't think that, there's always social needs. Some of the larger communities are putting this to things like back to work programs and childcare and things like that. Not to say that there is no need here in Winslow, but I think the need is fairly low compared to some of the infrastructure needs that we have. We've got the monies that we're going to need to put in the budget for the 2 trucks. That is significant money. What did the quote come in at on those individually? I know originally we had said $200,000.
We should still be about $200,000.
Erica, can I stop you for just a sec? The 300 that we have left over from the first round, is that also can be used for basically anything? Or is it
Yes, the
restricted just
entire,
for
the entire award
the entire
has
money
been
left?
opened up to anything. So
Okay.
it's just they're distributing the money in 2 tranches, but the
Yeah.
rules apply across the board to both of them. So the trucks is about $400,000 right there. We have, there's any number of needs that we have.
can find
So
ways to,
What's the total?
To do the-
Excuse me. through
the
chair.
total that we will end up with, because we've already spent approximately $100,000, we'll have about $700,000 left when the second tranche comes in. We've got 300 right
100's
now.
coming out of the 800.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Do you think we should talk about this more in depth at budgeting?
That would be my suggestion, but I'd like you all to be thinking that way, because we're going to present a capital budget that has a lot of needs on it. And my suggestion would be that that's where we put the ARPA money, whether it be roads, sewer, trucks, whatever that is, building repairs. We have a lot of things to be done. We did make some improvements this year, not the least of which was the heat pumps. Those are going to be significant, one, in terms of air quality, but also because the price of heating fuel has been skyrocketing. And I don't know about everybody else, but in my office with the heat pump, it's hot. I've had to completely turn off my heat. It's supplementing a little too much. So they do work, and they've been doing a great job.
May I, have you seen a difference in the air quality in the building since the heat pumps have been installed?
I haven't heard Tanya coughing all the time like she was.
Okay,
So
I think there is a big difference.
okay.
the carpeting's holding a lot of
Yeah, the carpeting
allergens
is-
as well.
well, that's minor, that can get changed.
Yeah, that's not big money. When I talk about paint and flooring, that's not a huge amount of money. It's something that's out there that we need to do. But in thinking of doing that, we probably ought to, if we're gonna do all the flooring at the same time, we need to build the office that's gonna be for the executive assistant, and probably just fix up our front office area to be more user-friendly for the clerks up front. Again, that certainly wouldn't be the bulk of that money, but these are things that we really need to do if we're gonna stay in this building another 5 to 10 years. So,
I think Peter's right, Dale's right. I think we need to bring this up during the budget process and during, capital, whether, I think we get a couple weeks to think, a week to think about it. One of the needs I see is, I go into your office just to be, and I see you, Lisa, Tanya, and an assistant in there, and I say, that is, to me, an unacceptable work environment for that. I just wanted the council to think about that.
it's part of the renovation that we're proposing, on my end anyway, that I'm proposing for the town
Okay,
office.
we'll know more during the budget process. I think Peter's right that.
Why, we could sit here a couple hours and all brainstorm,
Yeah, yeah.
we've all got ideas, but probably tonight isn't the time.
It is
We'll
not
just say,
the time.
we'll just say this, that it came in a good time.
Yes.
We should apply for more.
It came in a real good time. Why don't we appoint you as a one-person committee to see if we can get more money?
I don't do well at begging.
I was gonna say, we'll
I've
even
been
buy other
always
things.
on the opposite end of that.
Okay. Erica, you mentioned the executive assistant. What's the status? How's
The
that?
status is that I've been far too busy to put the ad out there again. But
Anything else, Erica, to add in the discussion?
not on that discussion. I don't think so. The only other thing that we were talking budget-wise was, you all know we pushed the first budget session to the 22nd and added the 23rd. The 23rd was out there as a placeholder before, now it's a definite. We are meeting on the 23rd. We wanted to discuss, per Chairman Macklin, if we are going to need an additional budget session beyond that, and I think there's a good chance we may.
Let's talk about that right now.
That was on my list for the third budget hearing, if necessary. We've got one for the 23rd, the 24th. Ray, one more time, Ray. When were you gonna be gone? And couldn't do it. I'm getting old, I forget these things.
29th to the 5th, I believe.
So the 29th is a Tuesday to the 5th, which is another Tuesday. You will be gone.
So that leaves the 28th and the 6th.
So you're on the 29th and he's gone.
You'll be back on the 5th, Ray, you think?
We're gonna be back.
This is a Tuesday.
Where's your phone? Pick your calendar.
I won't be available Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
How about the first Tuesday, Ray? You're leaving on the 29th, which is a Tuesday. How about the 28th, the Monday before that? Either that, or we'd have to probably move the school budget, which is on the 7th.
That's fine.
So it's either the day before you leave or the day after you get back?
The day before, the divorce would cost me quite a bit, but I think that's okay.
How about the, okay, what about the 25th, everybody, the Friday?
That's
I'm-
3 days in a row?
You know, okay. No,
I'm at
okay,
the Institute up in Bangor with the rest of the managers,
Okay.
and I'm a presenter, so I can't really.
I'd rather do it
before.
before than after.
Right, you'd rather do it the day before?
Yes.
All right, how about the 28th, everybody? That's a Monday. Is that okay with
We're
everybody?
talking the daytime session?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. that's
8:30 to
fine.
2.
That's right.
Yeah, and
If
probably,
necessary.
you know,
And that's
if
an
it
if
goes well,
necessary.
maybe a couple, 3 hours.
No problem.
How about you, Erica, the 28th?
Yeah, we can do that. I know it's gonna be a little bit of a hardship on Tanya. Mondays and Thursdays are hard for her because of payroll and warrants, but we'll make it work.
Okay. Everybody else, good? Jerry?
See the 22nd, 23rd? I thought it was the 23rd.
23rd and 24th.
23rd, 24th, I apologize.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, so we're at
You don't want to be here by yourself?
the 28th,
I don't want to take a day off for no reason.
right?
The 28th,
the
which is a
28th.
Monday.
I'll send out another invite.
Okay.
Peter?
Yes.
How about the school?
The
School is
school will
on
stay
April
the
7th.
7th.
Still staying the 7th.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure.
We're getting too many here.
Okay, to go back over this, just to be sure, let us old guys have it right. 23rd, 24th, and 28th,
Correct.
okay? And school 7th at night,
Yes, at 6 PM.
okay?
Erica, could you put that on the website for us?
You get the 5th down too?
No,
You get the
No.
5th down at 1 o'clock?
Please?
Facilities?
I always do.
Eric, if you send us a meeting notice, that always...
I will.
that always-
5th of April?
Yeah.
That's for me.
I do.
Yep.
Just checking.
Well, you good, thank you, I need it.
Okay.
That's it, Lisa?
That is it. Would anyone like to make a motion to
I
adjourn?
make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Peter, you guys can't adjourn until you sign
And I'm
off.
gonna go by show of hands, all in favor?
All of these?
Yeah.
That looks like a solid 7. Thank you.
Don't,
Rocky,
Yeah.